A very good evening to you traders. This is Mark. Welcome to your daily trading video. It's actually a Monday afternoon, and I was taking a few DAX trades this morning, and they were doing fine. I'll run through those in literally a second. But the point of this video is that, had I taken a step back and looked at the bigger picture of what's going on, then that really will tell you everything you need to know about how you want to be positioned. Short-term trading is great, tape reading is great, and actually that's what made me profitable this morning. However, understanding the bigger picture and then putting that into perspective of your targets and your stops is very, very important. So let me bear with me while I go through this point. Look at the US chart, for example. This is the Dow Cash, and you can see that since the Trump rally from that early morning low, every single resistance level has become support. Now, example here. Okay, on the Trump day, we had a resistance level here. The next day, that became support, and we were talking about it in a few videos. It didn't really go any lower. Then that high became support later in the day. This high the following day became support the day after that. That same high there then became support today for the overnight session and today just at the open. So the point is that you are getting the classical stair move up. Yes, it's not directly, but every time we put in a resistance level, that then becomes support. So just looking at that and understanding that, sure, at some point we're going to get a few 100-point pullback. That's obviously going to happen at some point, but when, who knows? And while that is happening, short trades or any short opportunities have got to be very brief. As a short-term trader, you've got to respect that. Okay, perfect, if you're going to align yourself with the long side, you're getting far more meat. But yes, I do appreciate there are short opportunities for quick scalps. But having in your mind that these have got to be scalps only, because this is brutally strong at the moment. No matter what we think, it's overstretched, overbought, whatever, respecting the fact that every support is holding, until it doesn't hold, shorts have got to be just little snatches. So this morning when I was trading the DAX is a little bit of a different chart, by the way. It's not quite as strong as the Dow, but support is generally holding. It's not as brutally obvious, but lows are holding, highs are being broken. We're still in that kind of exploring the up move, and even the pullbacks aren't as strong, aren't as deep as you'd expect. If we were doing some two-way trades. So what was I doing today? Well, anyway, I had an alert set. You can see here, I didn't want to be sitting in front of the screens. I'd watched a little bit in the morning. I didn't want to get involved. We'll be cautious on a Monday morning. I set an alert here, as you can see by that little clock, to this point here, and that was just before the morning low, which is just here. I wanted to be alerted to that because I wanted to see how we're going to push through that. I was also aware that, the gap up was pretty significant. We've got the gap down here at 10,667 cash gap, and so I thought a gap fill wouldn't be out of the question, and that would be a nice little scalp trade. Anyway, moving on quickly, let's not roll on with that too much. I started shorting the market, around this kind of level here. I was in and out, shorting a little bit here, covering some here. But the last trade was where I sort of had a bit of a vision of, okay, this is probably where you must say to yourself, if I'm going to be shorting this, I'm in, I'm out, I'm done, I get my money, I run. Shorting on this little candle, this second candle here, this one. As we were pushing up against resistance, we were struggling. This was kind of stretched, and we pulled back, and then it was because we weren't struggling and hadn't burst straight through. I thought, well, that might hold for one more go. We might get the push through and go back and fill the gap. So I'm shorting this. I'm adding to the position. I'm scaling some off as we come into the lows. Fine, all very nice. But then we turn around and push back up, and this candle, kind of made me think twice about it. End up covering the last of the position. Profitable set of trades. However, the point I'm trying to make with the higher time frame is respecting that the market is not making prolonged moves to the downsides unless you are in short from the high point and you're picking the high and you've spotted the rollover and you've got that meat. The old position of getting on the first pullback or even second pullback for the final leg becomes a much less likely proposition when the longer time frame is that, because you're basically trading this to the downside. And yes, you could be lucky and we could be part of a roll, but I'm all about trading the probabilities and trading what the most likely event is, and that is the least likely thing to happen. So after I came out of that trade, I kind of thought, well, yeah, you were looking for the gap fill, but ultimately there was a massive amount of resistance there and support there. Sorry, from yesterday. Probably Friday when we were clustering here, loads of volume done all around here. So to pick that arbitrary level down there was probably not very sensible, and especially when we've come off so far from the high, 10,800 all the way down to sort of 10,700 in reasonable move, but we're still also gapping up. We're still up on the day. That's a lot different when you're positive on the day and you've come off from highs. That's a lot different than if you're negative, you've pushed up a little bit and then you rolled again. That's a completely different chart. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is just respecting the higher time frame, understanding where the short-term tape reading and opportunity comes in, but also appreciating where you are, where the market could go, who's trapped. No one's trapped here, apart from the few people who bought within a couple of hour window up here. Nobody is hurting here. There's no fuel to the fire down here, so it's no wonder it stopped short of the final target and found a bid, and now we're pushing back up. Obviously, we're tracking the down now, but it's all these things that you've got to take into perspective, and actually you've got to remember in the heat of the battle when you're trading this and you're thinking it's a great setup, where are we in the bigger picture? And if we're not looking favourable, either take it for a scalp trade or don't take it at all. Anyway, that's just my take on it. I hope you had a great trading day today, guys. It's looking very interesting, very volatile out there. Lots of stuff on the move. This applies to any market, by the way. It just happened to be that I was in the DAX this morning, but it applies to anything. Anyway, take care, guys. Back in another video tomorrow.